Today, we're diving into the psychology of a mind that's so often misunderstood, one that thinks and feels with an absolutely incredible depth. You know that feeling, right? From the outside, your life might look totally fine. But internally, there's this constant sense of being disconnected, or tired, or just mentally overwhelmed. This isn't because something is wrong with you. It's because your brain literally processes reality in a different way. Most people assume that being smart makes life easier, but psychology shows us something pretty different. High intelligence doesn't get rid of problems, it just reframes them. So this isn't about flaws, it's about a unique and sometimes challenging way of experiencing the world. So let's start with what's actually going on inside. What does it really feel like to have a mind that is always on? This is pretty much the core experience, right? The mind just rarely slows down. It's constantly processing, questioning rules others take for granted, and overthinking everything with logic. You're replaying conversations, analyzing past decisions. It can easily lead to perfectionism, and because your brain craves complexity, you get bored with repetitive stuff incredibly fast. And there's actually a term for this kind of thinking: cognitive complexity. This isn't just worrying, it's a deep, logical examination of every single possible angle. So what might look like you're being indecisive to an outsider is actually your mind doing its job, gathering all the data to find the absolute best path forward. And it's so important to separate this cognitive depths from something like an anxiety disorder. The constant thinking isn't inherently bad. It's the sign of a brain that's just built for analysis. The real challenge is the mental exhaustion that comes from a mind that simply cannot find its off switch. This really just gets to the heart of it all. This isn't a personal failing or some kind of weakness. Think of it like a high-performance engine that's always running. It's powerful, but it just naturally burns more fuel. Okay, so let's see how this intense inner world shapes your social interactions. Why do people who think this way so often feel like they're on the outside looking in? This chart breaks down some of the biggest misunderstandings. What might look antisocial to someone else, it's actually a preference for deep, quality connections over boring small talk. What seems reserved? Well, that's often just your brain trying to manage a ton of sensory input. And what comes across as aloofness is really just energy conservation, because social interactions can be so draining. And this right here is the key. You can be in a room full of people and feel completely and utterly alone. That feeling of isolation, it isn't social, it's cognitive. It comes from this deep craving for conversations that actually stimulate your mind. And when those are missing, a profound sense of loneliness can really set in. And there's real science behind why crowded places can feel so overwhelming. It's a trait called high sensory processing sensitivity. Your brain is absorbing more information, every conversation, every little movement, the lights, the sounds. So avoiding those situations isn't a social choice, it's your brain protecting itself from a total system overload. Okay, so this cognitive depth definitely has its challenges. There's a cost that comes with processing reality so fully. So let's actually look at what that price really is. These are the struggles that so often go completely unseen by others. Because you see patterns that others miss, stress can feel way more intense. Your complex thoughts are hard to explain quickly, which leads to feeling misunderstood. Instead of just feeling your emotions, your mind wants to analyze them, which can get in the way of intimacy. And with such a clear vision of what's possible, it's just so easy to be extremely self-critical. So, why this vulnerability to stress? It's because your mind is constantly processing long-term outcomes and all the potential risks. You're not just seeing the problem right in front of you, you're seeing all of its future ripple effects. And that awareness, without a way to balance it emotionally, becomes a very heavy mental load to carry. But this is not a story about weakness. Far from it. The very same wiring that creates these struggles also forges some incredibly rare strengths. Let's flip the coin and look at the other side. You see, these struggles forge a unique toolkit. They can lead to this amazing sense of calm when everyone else is panicking. They sharpen your ability to read people's true intentions in an instant. They create this powerful independence from what other people think. And finally, they build a deep, unshakable resilience because you've learned how to survive, how to adapt, and how to rebuild from the ground up. That calm in the middle of chaos actually has a name: stress inoculation. It's a developed skill. Because your brain has already faced so much intense internal pressure, it learns not to overreact to new threats. This isn't a lack of emotion, it's the sign of a battle-tested mind. After going through so much, something fundamental begins to shift. That need for outside approval, it just starts to fade away. Your confidence starts coming from within. Psychology calls this an internal locus of control, and believe me, it is a profound and rare kind of freedom in a world that is constantly asking for your validation. And we're going to end on this thought. Intelligence and depth don't just sharpen your mind, they intensify your awareness, your emotion, and your sense of responsibility. The challenges you face are not signs that you're broken. They are simply the price you pay for seeing the world in all its complex, beautiful, and sometimes difficult detail. So the question isn't how to fix the struggles, but how to honor the depth that they come from.